Hello, it's Kev here, time for another video for IELTS this time. So what we're going to do now, we've got a topic from Cambridge 19. It's, can't remember if it's test 1 or test 2. Anyway, it's about the one about the working week should be shorter, workers should have a longer weekend, etc. So first, I'm going to show you my example, and then we're going to look at a student's response to this question, and I'll explain why it didn't quite work out. There's a few things to do with the structure, examples. Anyway, get your pen out, get ready, let's take a look, and I think you'll find this quite informative. Okay? Hello, it's Kevin here, time for a video for IELTS. This time, this is a task 2 question from Cambridge 19. So, disclaimer, fair use, non-profit, blah blah blah, the usual caper. Right, to get that out of the way. So, I've had many new students this last week, all from China. Apparently, they've seen me on a Xiaohongshu or Red Book or Red Notebook. And they're all taking the IELTS test. Anyway, this particular person here wants some help with her writing. So, she's doing this topic about working week, should be shorter, workers should have a longer weekend. Now, I do have a video on my channel that I did 8 months ago. So that'll be last year now when Cambridge 19, I think it's from test 2 when it came out. So there's already a tutorial for that one. We'll have a quick look at my sample essay, which I wrote for that question, then we'll take a look at this new one, just to give you some idea of how you can do it, okay? So, let's have a look. So, first things first, sentence 1, paraphrase the topic. It's been argued that reducing the number of working days, extending the weekend will be beneficial. Sentence 2, answer the question. Right? In my opinion, this would be good because productivity, improve well-being, etc. Okay, so sentence 1, paraphrase the topic. Sentence 2, answer the question. Now, going into your body paragraph, sentence 1, main idea. Firstly, despite seeming counterintuitive, should I put that there? Yeah. A shorter work week is closely linked to higher productivity. So, that's connecting up with my outline sentence, yeah? Productivity boost, closely linked to higher productivity. So that's my main idea. Now, sentence 2, expand. What does that actually mean? So this increased efficiency stems from employees being more focused and energetic when adequately rested. Okay, so you can see, right, every sentence has got to build. So, a shorter work week's good, productivity is increased because the workers are more rested. So when we do work, they're more energetic. Expand, explain, only 4 days, employees complete tasks before the weekend. A specific example, and this is kind of, right now, you can make up examples, because it's not a truth test. Obviously, you don't want to make them overly complex, but this is more or less, this is true more or less. Certain countries do have higher productivity because they have shorter working weeks, etc. I think in France we only have 35 hours or 36 hours. Anyway, higher productivity rather than the United States. And then your final sentence connects it back up to the topic, okay? benefits employers, maximizing output, contributes, da, 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 da. Okay, right, so you can see then, right, every sentence has got to move on, right? Main idea, explain it, example, explain it. Okay, that's a general idea. One reason why people get low scores is because they don't progress. That's the key, that's the cohesion and coherence part of a score. There's not a progression. This leads to this, leads to that, leads to this. Okay. Next paragraph, let's see if we can continue this. So, my first idea, productivity. That was in the outline, yeah. And the second one, improve employees' physical and mental well-being. And that's the main idea. Sentence 1, paragraph number 3. Another compelling reason for this policy is a substantial improvement it brings to employees' mental health. What does that mean? Individuals, personal family, blah, blah, blah. Example, in Sweden. I do remember reading something about this. I think the Scandinavian countries do have more employee off time, and they have all this stuff. Anyway, you can find that out on the internet. So sentence 1, main idea, explain it, example, and then we're reinforcing it here, right? This additional time recuperates, reduces depression, long-term health, etc. Yeah? So that's pretty straightforward stuff. And then in conclusion, twofold. So that's only 287 words. And that's it. Yeah, I mean, let me just make sure that that's the case. 287. That's it. We've got 2 sentences in the introduction, 2 in the conclusion. Yeah, so we've got 4, then we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's that? I don't know. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 15 sentences there. And it's only 287 words. So that's all that you need. You know, you could get by with 12, right? 2 for your intro, 4 for your body, 4 for your body, 2 for your conclusion. You just have to watch that word count. But still, 15 sentences, 287 words. Okay. So I'll just, let me put this on the screen so you can see the whole thing. You can pause it if you wish and see it all. Okay, I'll just put that there. Okay, so now we'll take a look at somebody else's and see what they've done. So let's take a look. Put some changes on. Now, check a word count first. Let's see what we've got. What do we have here? 330. A little bit longer. You don't really need 330. If you can do it in 40 minutes, okay, but put some changes on. Let's see what we can do here. Some changes on. Okay. Nowadays, the working time, right? Well, it's not the working time, it's a working week. It's specifically talking about reducing the hours, days, hours in the week. Is it 5 days? Is it 4 days? Is it 40 hours? Is it 36 hours? They should have a longer weekend. So I won't say time, but it doesn't say that in the topic. It doesn't say that. Now that might be true in some countries. I know, for example, in China, where many of my current students are originating from, or where they are, they've got that, or they used to have that, what do you call it? The 996 thing, where you'd work 9 till 9, 6 days a week. I still think in some sectors they have that ridiculous thing about, you know, you've got to work all these hours to be competitive. Anyway, that's something else. So it doesn't say that in the topic, so I wouldn't put it in the introduction. Put it in your body paragraph, but I wouldn't put it in the introduction. All that you need is simply paraphrase the topic. You don't need that, okay? get to the point. Some people think that the working time of a week or in the week should be reduced. And labour, now, you're talking about organised labour. Now, for paraphrasing, would we say labour instead of workers? We might say the labour force, we might say employees, but we probably wouldn't just say labour. So either workers, or if you don't want to use workers, if you don't want to use it, use employees instead. Let's spell that right. Employees, right, so I would use one of those two. Should gain more holidays. Now, again, holidays, is that holidays annually? Because when we talk about holidays, we talk about the number of holidays we can take off in a year. It's not talking about that. It doesn't say that. It's specific. Working week, weekends. So if you change your paraphrase, it's not the same. Yeah? If you don't want to say a longer weekend, should gain more free time at the weekend. If you don't want to use the exact words. But still, you need to make sure that you cover the key words, right? It's not holidays like annual holidays. You know, it's like some people have 21, some people have 28. That's what we mean when we say holidays. Days that you can take off, all right? So I definitely agree with actually does say that shortening the working time and giving longer weekends to, not for, to the workers, or to workers, say. All right, we'll just make that abstract. Giving longer weekends to workers is not only good for citizens' physical and mental health, but also beneficial to the company, the particular company that they work at. Okay. First of all, having a longer weekend can release people's stress and anxiety so that workers can have a better spiritual, a better standard of spiritual and physical health. Spiritual? I don't think you actually mean spiritual. Maybe you mean mental, but spiritual, that's something else entirely. So sentence 1, as I showed you in mine, should be the main idea of a sentence. So the organisation here should be this paragraph, physical and mental health, and next paragraph, why it's good for the company. That's the logical way, yeah? So let's see if that does this. So main idea, release people's stress, okay. So the next sentence should explain what that means. When the firm arranges a large amount of tasks and lists for their staff, as well as a longer working time, like working overtime in a short period, the staff would be under huge pressure not to finish? You mean to finish? Because why would you be under pressure not to finish? You mean a huge pressure to finish? Now, you see the confusing part, right? So, sentence 1 says, having a long weekend can release people's stress and anxiety, right? So, sentence 2 should be, like in mine, explaining what that means. What stress, what anxiety, why is that going to make it better, etc. But now, this sentence goes straight into something not connected to the previous idea. When the firm arranges a large task and lifts their staff, I want to know, this is with huge pressure to not. So what's that? Then, right. According to WHO, it's about the death rate, which is death rate due to treatment. So, are you talking about the death rate of people at work? But how do you know the death rate is due to tremendous working pressure and a longer working week? How can you prove that? 750,000 people's deaths around the world. That example, I don't think it's actually true. It doesn't make any sense. So your main idea, having a long weekend workers, better health. Okay, so you should be talking about that. What's the benefits? Explain the benefits of working less. But now you've got this about, so you go into the firm, but the employer bit, that should be this paragraph here, right? So when the firm arranges out on a task, huge pressure to finish their job. So the but again, what's that necessarily got to do with having a longer weekend? What's the connection? Is there one? A longer working week, there are almost 750,000 people who died around the world in 2016 because of working pressure, but I don't know how you'll be able to collate that. Leave working time and prolong the weekend for labourers or labourers. You can't really, well, right. Again, you need to say what particular job or sector you're talking about. If you're talking about manual labourers, when we say labour, we usually mean manual labourers. If we talk about employees, workers, we usually think about blue collar, office kind of stuff, yeah? So I'm not quite sure what that actually means. So the next paragraph should be talking about efficiency. And then promote financial complete and help the boss earn more money. Well, I'm not sure if that's a good reason. With a longer relaxation time, more have a rest and empty their brain. Empty their brain. You mean to unwind or relax? That might be better than empty their brain. I'm not sure about that. They can choose to take for 7 days to chill and have a short tour to unwind, which means they can get better rest time to relax their body. And then workers will pay more attention to their tasks, to those topics, is not the same as a task, and achieve those more efficiently. They will accomplish their work with more motivation. That is why I support a longer holiday and shorter working week. In conclusion, despite the working time becoming longer and longer, I believe that the working time should be reduced, and weekends should be added. You mean extended? This is due to longer holiday. Again, holidays not the same as weekends. But to longer holidays, bringing better health employees and a good economic improvement for companies. Okay, so you can see there's a fair bit of grammar here. There's some vocab, there's some grammar, but the organisation and the ideas, they're not as clear as they could be. Yeah, so it's like, if you stick to the structure, which I've outlined in many videos and in my structure guide. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you want a copy, you can send us a message and I'll send you it. But sentence by sentence. Sentence 1, main idea, explain, expand. But as this, it's a bit confusing. I kind of get the general idea. But It's like better standard when you're talking about the firm staff are under pressure. What's that about weekend? Then you're talking about staff are under pressure. So you've kind of said two long sentences that staff are under pressure, but we want you to tell us exactly why a longer weekend can release people's stress. So you go from like, you know, having a longer weekend's good, but you don't tell me why. Instead, you tell me that work is bad. Yeah. So therefore, because work's bad, we need to make the weekend longer because that's good. But you don't specifically say why that longer weekend. You know, so you're mixing the ideas. Is it, you know, employees, employer, all right? So like in mine, and I think it would make sense, talk about why it's beneficial to the employees only in this paragraph, right? And then why it's beneficial to the employer in this paragraph. Because what we've got a mixing. We've got employees, employers, why is it bad, why it's bad for work. Okay, then if we go to this one here, so it's good for the company, and then it's about employees, but not specifically why it's, you know, so there's only one sentence about why it's beneficial for the employer. Yeah. Now I'll just make this short and put this on the screen so you can pause it. You can see. Okay. So let's just have a look at mine again, right? Just so you can see how to structure it. Okay. So reducing the number of week beneficial. In my opinion, it would boost productivity and improve employee stuff. So the first main idea, productivity. That's all I talk about. Productivity. Why is that good? How would that improve? The next one, why the employees would have a benefit. And that's this paragraph here. Okay? So, for your cohesion and coherence, so your task response is all about the ideas, right? The quality of the ideas, how well they're supported and extended with reasons and examples. When you've got the cohesion and coherence part, how well does it fit together? So you can see in mine, the cohesion part is pretty good. It's pretty clear. Now, I'm not going to get the criteria out because I've done that in many videos. If you've been watching them, you should know it, and you should have your own version of the criteria on your computers in any case for you to look at. So you can see task response, cohesion, coherence. It says the message should be easily understood, right? So that the essay in total, the message should be easy to understand. Easy to follow. You shouldn't have to be scratching your head to try and wonder, what does this mean, what does that mean, etc. Okay, so the message needs to be clear, and the ideas need to be clear also. It needs to be clear what exactly you're talking about. Anyway, it's been a lengthy video, but I hope that gives you some ideas about sentence by sentence, how to structure, etc. Okay, hope that helps. If you're watching on YouTube, links below, etc. Watch some more vids, subscribe, blah blah blah, and see you next time. So there you go. I hope you found that interesting and informative. You can see there's one or two things there that could be improved for sure. Anyway, if you like this, there's more videos on the channel. If you want to subscribe, like, contact me, all the links below, etc. And maybe if you do get in touch, maybe it will be your writing that is reviewed next time. Anyway, all links below, etc. And I'll see you in the next video.